you know, I almost went to bed before giving you guys this review. So I said, before I hit the hay, let me give you guys this review. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to another Moon Knight review. This time for season 1, episode 5, called Asylum. This was another stellar episode because this episode it really cracked open the egg of Mark / Steven's life, and it did so in a doozy and somewhat predictable way. But let me give you a synopsis first, and then I'll get into what I mean. It says Asylum. Mark and Steven search through their memories to find their truth or become left behind. So, man, it's like it's gonna be hard because to truly understand what I just read, I would have to like get into spoilers, and I don't want to spoil anything. But this episode does pick up from where the last episode, what was that? The tune ended. So we find Mark and Steven in this weird asylum, and basically they go through it thinking that either they know that last thing they remember is being shot, and now they going through this asylum. They don't know is Mark. This is just all in Mark's head, that he's just going crazy. That everything that happened from episode 1 up until this point has just been on his head, been stuff he just made up to cope with trauma and stress. And it gradually over time we find out that we find out the truth about the asylum, what the place is, and what it means for Mark and Steven. The tone of this episode, or the theme of this episode, is trauma. And when I mean by trauma, I mean trauma in all sense of its facets, from emotional trauma, abuse. Big emphasis on abuse. Guilt. It deals with so many layers of trauma, so many layers of abuse, but it does it in a way to show you how we got here when it comes to Steven and Mark. And we find out that the hippo lady she's a particular god that has a particular job, and that job, when you find out who she is and what that job is, that's when the truth about what's going on in their current situation while they're in the insane asylum actually being revealed. Mark and Steven do go on a journey through the memories, and it became predictable. I say this is predictable because I kind of sort of saw them going in this direction. And what I mean is, like, the whole, like, and this episode does reveal the whole dynamic of Mark and Steven, and how Mark and Steven became how they got to this point. Where, why is there two, there are two people, why is there the dude Mark, and why is there Steven, and we get to that. This episode tells you why and how that happens, and like I said, it deals with, we do meet Mark's parents. Thanks to his memories, we do get to actually see a face to the parents and stuff. Oh man, I'm trying to see how the else frame this, but yeah, they go through a journey. There are scales, that as in like a scale, a balance scale, in which they have to balance the scales in order to do something, and that's why they go on this journey through with Mark's memories and trying to figure out what is becoming balanced. why is the scales unbalanced? Because that's basically the hippo lady. She basically tells them that is unbalanced. We get a deeper backstory with Kachu, if I remember his name, Kachu, and the god that gives Mark the Moon Knight powers. We actually get to see how Mark met him and how he became to be the servant of Kachu. Um, this episode is good. The visuals, everything is stunning for this episode. What this episode does best is, even though you could probably see it coming, they still do it in a way where the reveal of everything, from the secrets of Stephen and Mark to where they are and to how they deal with trauma and stress and all that type of stuff. Even though you might see it coming, because like me, some of the stuff that they revealed in this episode, I saw it coming. But still, the way how it's handled, man, it's handled so good that I forget that I saw it coming. It still got me, even though I was like, wait a minute, I saw that coming. I wasn't too surprised because I knew it was coming, but yet they handled it in a way where you still are in awe. This episode does answer a big question, a question that probably some of you, I won't say many, but some of you probably wondering what happens to certain characters or to people in general in the MCU after they bite the big one. It does answer that question. This episode answered that question too. Even though you've seen it in some capability in other movies and stuff, this actually gives you a definitive, I guess you could call it a definitive answer. People are calling it definitive because it's like the best answer we get. So it's like, and we know for a fact that's what this is. So it's like, okay, this is the best answer. They confirming that's what this is. So that's why people say this is like the definitive answer to that burning question. But like I said, not all of you. Maybe some of you already figured out and some of you didn't. But this episode does answer that major question. I won't give it to you, because if I tell you what I'm talking about, then it kind of spoiled the episode a little bit. So just remember, there's a question that many fans have wondered, and if you eagerly want to know, because I didn't reveal it, just go to IGN. They got a whole article about what I'm talking about. Overall, this episode gets a I want to say this episode gets a, I was going to give it a 9. But you know what? I have no problem. I mean, I have a nitpick problem. And my nitpick problem with this episode was just the fact that I could see it coming. The most of the things that was revealed, like, that was maybe like, maybe 2 things that I didn't see coming. But it wasn't 100% surprising, but it was definitely 95% surprising. The other 5 were just me going, huh, okay, yeah, I could see that. I could see how that could lead to that. But yeah, this episode, I was going to give it a 9, but I'm going to give it a 10. Yeah, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 just because this episode does, even though it had a twist and reveal that I saw coming, it was still a good episode. They still execute the reveals and stuff that I saw coming so well that I can't forgive the fact that I saw it coming. Well, at least some of it. Other than that, everything else was good. This was a perfect 10 episode. I enjoyed it. I still enjoy like the reveals and the secrets and why things would happen the way it did. And trust me, when you see this episode, if you haven't saw it already, you will understand what I mean when they get to revealing secrets. But that's all I got. If you enjoyed this episode of I said episode. I'm gonna go with it. Episode a little bit Matt Gamer reviewing Moon Knight, episode 5, Asylum. Then you hit this button right there in the upper right corner for all of my reviews. And if you enjoy this video so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, do all those great things. Because when you do, it helps me do this even better. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content, but don't go anywhere because I got gameplay. I got the Superman and Lois review coming up after this, more gameplay, and yeah, I'm about to go hit the hay, so peace out.